Hello guys, welcome to part 14 of Naruto, Rebirth of the Yellow Flash. First of all, I must say that this story doesn't belong to me. So if you want to read the full story for yourself, you can go down in the description to find the original link to the post. That being said, let's get into the video. Naruto, Rebirth of the Yellow Flash, part 14. Forest of Death. All the Genins were rushing into the forest, hoping to find the scroll they required as soon as possible. All except Naruto, who stopped running 100 meters into the forest. He beat his thumb, drawing a little blood before going through hand seals and slamming his hand on the floor and shouting, summoning jutsu. Two toads appeared in poof of smoke. Both of them are also tall or as tall as Naruto was. One was a yellow toad with red marks on his body. He had a look of earnestly in his face. His cheeks were also chubby in looks. The second toad was red in color and had purple marking on his face. They were two of Naruto's best friend and his professional summons. They were the only ones who knew of Naruto working in recreating his dad's fable jutsu. Recreating his dad's fable jutsu. You guessed it, they were our favorite summon of all time, Gama Tatsu and Gama Kichi. Yo, bro, why did you call us here? Kichi curiously asked, "Oh, I am taking part in the Chunin exam, but I am going solo. I summoned you to be my teammates for this phase of exam." Naruto casually replied, "Naruto, do you have any snacks?" Tatsuo asked Eli. "I do, but I will give them to you after we safely complete this position of the exam. Deal, Naruto," said Naruto. "Deal," both of the toads said, and all three set off to find the teams. "Guys, since the nearest team, we will take them out and take their scrolls," Naruto said. Both of them scared to scanned two teams around, fighting it out some 100 meters out. Kichi looked at Naruto and said, "Bro, two teams dashing it out 100 meters north. Alright, we will use combo Dragoso 1127 and rock them all together." Understood? Naruto instructed. "Got it. Hey, both of the toads replied at the same time. The three of them then picked up speed and raced towards the area where the two other Genin teams were dishing it out. Soon they reached a clearing where they saw a team of Iawa battling with a team from Ami. He looked at the two toads and signaled for them to start. The two of them silently nodded and thus released his toad oil and ran towards the clearing, creating a circle that surrounded the six fighting Genin. Kichi then looked and the wall and a flame fired a fire-style fireball jutsu. Thanks to the while the six genin were surrounded in a ring of fire, which caused all of them to abandon all the fighting and go on the defensive in front of the enemy. None of them noticed that Naruto had created three clones. The three clones then jumped into the air directly above the clearing and went through three handsells. "Water style, water bullet jutsu," the first clone shouted. "Wind style, wind bullet jutsu," the second one. "Lightning style, lightning ball jutsu," the third clone said. The water ball grew exponentially in size thanks to the wind bullet. An enlarged water bullet then combined with the lightning, increasing its attack power greatly. The enlarged lightning bullet hit all six Genin head on, clashing a small, causing a small explosion in the clearing. When the dust cleared, Naruto saw all six genin laying on the floor, beaten, burned, and unconscious. He immediately sent his clones to retrieve the scrolls. He found both the earth and the heaven scroll. Smirking to himself, he collected both of the scroll, and then both Kichi and Tatsu back after giving them went back after giving them their snacks that he had sealed. Just as he was about to head towards the tower, he heard a plain scream coming somewhere 50 meters in right. He immediately took off to find out the source of the scream. With the Kumo team had already gained the art scroll from a team from a team from Konoha, and were heading towards the tower when they were assaulted by a pack of giant wolves. The three of them were able to fight them off for a while before Omoi and Karui were critically hit, causing her to scream. Samui now had to fight protecting her friends. She then displayed her true strength and managed to take out three wolves before she got a bad slash on her leg, causing to give a loud scream as she was panting on me. The wolves were stalking in the stalking the trio, ready to attack at a moment notice. This was the scene that Naruto had walked in on. Despite them being shinobi from a different village, Naruto couldn't in his right state of mind sit back and let them die, especially after seeing the first girl who made his heart flutter in that condition. Jumping into action, he threw four kunais and then created a single hand seal ram sign before shouting Shadow Kunai Clone Jutsu. The four kunais multiplied into 400 because of the chakra he put into them. The kunais landed right in front of the wolves, hampering their movement. Landing in front of Samui, Naruto without turning asks, "Are you okay? And your friends okay?" "Yes," she answered in a cold voice, without taking her eyes off the wolves. Naruto knew he couldn't take on all the wolves. So he unsealed his Sharingan and stared deep into the Alpha's eyes, causing him to drop down on the ground unconscious. Seeing their leader down, the rest of the wolves retreated. Naruto then turned to face Samui, who held up her sword in a defensive manner. Seeing that Naruto raised his arm in a diffusing manner and said, "I am not here to fight you. I have already collected my scroll. What about you?" Sami knew she didn't have to answer Naruto, but somehow she couldn't really stop herself from trusting him and nodding in confirmation. He then created two clones that lifted her teammates before he himself lifted her in a bridal carrier. Her cheeks became slightly pink, but her logical thinking told her that it was for the best. After all, he felt like someone she could trust in. So, would you like to have a talk after this phase of the exam is over? Naruto asked, trying to strike up a conversation with her as he and his clones reached the tower raced towards the tower. Samui, on her part, was mentally betraying herself, battling herself. He is carrying me so uncool yet cool at the same time. He must be thinking about how uncool I am, she thought before her head before she heard Naruto calling her. So what will it be? Wanna meet up after the second phase? Naruto asked. Are you asking me out on a date? She asked in her usual cold, monotone voice. I don't really know. No, it kinda depends on you. If you want a date, I can give you one, he said with a loop-side grin. Samui just blushed slightly before muttering a baka. They arrived at the tower after 2 hours, which they opened the scroll, and their senses arrived. Sensei, both the genin at the same time. The Kumo Jonin was blonde-haired Konoichi wearing the regular Kumo Jonin uniform. Both she and Itachi received uh, reach their eyebrows at each other before raise their eyebrows at each other before looking at their genin and genins with questioning looks. After explaining the whole thing, the Kuma Jonin thanked Naruto for saving her genins before turning to Itachi and saying, it is good to see you again, Raven, especially it's good to see you again, Raven, especially under better conditions, the Kumo Jonin said. Same here, cat. Oh, oh yeah, Itachi has a Raven summoning, that's why he is called the Raven. Same here, cat, though I didn't expect your student to finish so soon and that too at the same time. Itachi replied in a monotone voice. Turning to the genin, Itachi said, Naruto, you guys pass, go take the three of them to the medic before finding a room for yourself. I will meet you later on. Nodding, Naruto took the three Kuma Jonins away, leaving their senses alone. As soon as their surroundings were clean, the Kumo Jonin jumped and kissed Itachi square on the lips. I thought Itachi had already had a girlfriend. Yeah. When they broke for a few minutes later, the Kumo Jonin said, "I have missed you, Itachi." Same here, Yugi. Same here. I hope the Raikage finally makes an alliance. Spending time away from you is tough. Wait a second. Itachi is double timing. Nice, Itachi. Itachi answered back. Both of them then found a scheduled corner, skulled corner where they resumed their activities. Alright, found a corner where it was then visible to the in normal eyes and resumed their activities. Go and read it. After dropping the two Kumo Jonins to the medical bay, Naruto carried Samui to a room. As soon as she lay down on a bed, she started massaging her shoulder. Naruto, looking at that, got confused and asked, Do your shoulders hurt?" She worriedly nodded, after which Naruto asked, Want me to give you a massage? I am a natural. He said, natural. She looked at him blankly before he said, I am not getting any ideas. It's just a massage, that's all. She again wordlessly nodded and then turned her back to Naruto as he began his massage. As soon as he started, Samui felt a wave of bliss pass through her, and she could only think of one thing at that moment in time. He's so cool. Sorry. With Team 6, all right. I will go ahead. I will hold the scroll, and we will take out the first team we come across. I spread using my I spared using my Sharingan and found that all Konoha Genin team received the Heaven Scroll, so all we need is to find an Earth Scroll. Understood? Sarui asked her two teammates. Both of them nodded and then three of them ran off. After a few moments later, Kiba said, Stop guys, I need to take a leak. Wow. Kiba is useless as ever. Both the girls sighed at his bluntness before Sarui nodded and said, "Fine, but let's keep a password. Let's keep a password for when you come back." Kiba and Sakura nodded as Sarui thought for a moment before clicking her fingers and saying, "Valley of the end shall turn into the valley beginning when us collide." When us collide. Both of the other genis nodded and Kiva left. After a few moments, a smiling Kiva appeared and he said, "Sarui, password mutt." And Sarui said, "Password mutt." For some reason, Kiva didn't mind and said, "Valley of the end will be the valley of the beginning when us clash." As soon as he finished, both Sarui and Sakura attacked him, sending him flying into the tree. Then they then used a ninja wire to tie him to a tree. The unconscious Kiva faded away, and a army shinobi was seen. Suddenly, two figures jumped out of the trees, and when were about to attack Sarui and Sakura when Fang over Fang, Kiva's voice could called out as two spiraling white turbines hit the attackers, sending them crashing into the ground, knocking them out. Kiva smirkingly and looked at the amused face of the other Genins before saying, "We got them. Good, didn't we? Good, didn't we?" "We sure did," Sakura said as Sarui gave her usual as a response. After collecting their scrolls, all three of them started running towards the towers when they were hit by a very strong wave of ki. It was much stronger than they had faced Zabuza, and immediately sent the three of them onto their knees. From the ground, Konoichi and Kusha Konoichi appeared and chuckled at the tree shaking Genin in front of her. She then released a little more killing intent, and all three Genin were now seeing visions of their death. It wasn't a genjutsu; it was pure killing intent. It couldn't be dispelled. Same as manga. Orochimaru kicks their asses. Just then Orochimaru excitedly extended his neck and was about to bite Sarui to red blush appeared and hit him back. Red blur appeared and hit him back. Red blur appeared and hit him back. Team 7 landed in front of Team 6, ready for battle. Looking at them, Sarui started out, "Run, he is on a whole other level." Both Mito and Narumi channeled Kyuubi's chakra and entered the two-tailed state, which was limit for their current control, and stood in front of Orochimaru ready to fight. So the Kyuubi brats are here. Now, this should be a little interesting. Orochimaru said. Both Mito and Narumi attacked him at the same time, with Hinata trying to heal the others. Orochimaru was simply dodging their every attack. They may be high Chunin level, but they right now couldn't keep up with some of the Sanin. Soon Orochimaru summoned two snakes that restricted both Mito and Narumi, and he then appeared the Gukofuin on their seals. on their seals, and then beat Sarui, blinding her with binding her with the curse mark of the heavens. Just as he appeared, the Gukofuin Naruto felt something in his shield shift. He gasped that something must be linking his and his sister's shield, meaning if he was acting up, something had happened to his sister. He exited himself from Samui with the promise of coming back in an hour and left the room. He found an Anbu and shouted, "Anbu! Anbu-san, Can you go check on Mito and Narumi Uzumaki? I don't know why, but I feel like that they are in trouble. The Anbu was cat and he and she the Anbu was cat and she knew Naruto since he was a kid. Hence, she knew that this wasn't a joke. Hence, he was a kid. Hence, she knew that this wasn't a joke. He then nodded and flared chakra into her marks, informing the other Anbus before she left following the rapid disclinging chakra signature of the distinguishing chakra signature of the two. The Anbu arrived in the clearings to see that Orochimaru disappearing after saying, "Now you have my gift, Sarui Uchiha. I want to see whether you survive or not," he said as he threw a scroll at Team 6 and left. Cat instructed the other Anbus to create a clone and take all the Genin since they had their scroll and were met with special circumstance. Arriving to the towers, they were met with a worried sick Naruto, who immediately started checking on Mito and Narumi for any damage. He found another seal over the original one and immediately released it, giving his sister their control over the chakra back. He then started studying their seals and indeed did find linking the seal, but what surprised him was that the link seal wasn't a simple warning seal. The seal was linked with chakra recharging seal. Naruto, thanks to his sharp mind, immediately connected the dots. This seal took the chakra that Kyuubi recharged and gave it to his sisters. He smiled at his dad's thoughtfulness. Even in his dying moment, he ensured that his kids would have a tool to defend themselves with. He was given the Tours and the Sharingan, whereas his sisters were extremely exclusively given Kyuubi chakra. What a guy! Definitely the best seal master in history. Uzumaki be damned, Naruto thought as he created a clone to take everyone to the medic bay. After dropping them, he returned to Samui like he promised and continued her massage. Sometime later, when Itachi and Yugito were looking for Samui and Naruto, they heard the voice of the two said Genin. "Right there," Samui said blissfully. "Here," Naruto's voice asked. Not that hard. It's my first." "Not that hard. It's my first time," Samui smartly said. "Don't worry, I am an expert. I know what I am doing, so sit back and relax," Naruto said as Samui gave a moan of pleasure. Having enough, both the Jonis decided to catch the Genin in the act and opened the door. They saw Samui laying down on the bed with her back towards Naruto, who was giving her a massage. Both the Genin looked at their senses in a confusion manner. Both the senses awkwardly whistled after left them to what they were doing. Samui blushed a little as she understood what the two Jonins had presumed. Naruto, on the other hand, with all his infinite wisdom, looked confused as hell. Obviously, he's gonna look as confused as hell. Time skip 5 days. During the 5 days at the towers, both Samui and Naruto had bonded in a strange way. They both became friends. Naruto gave her a massage, then they lay on the same bed and talked for hours. Then they would Naruto gave her a massage, then they would lay on the same bed and talk for hours. Both of them were intensely confused. internally conflicted. They both knew that they had feeling for each other, but didn't know how to project them. Being from different villages that had no alliances didn't help their causes. Both of them learned several things about each other. Samui told him about her hot-headed brother who was her polar opposite. The fact was she had been personally raised by Yandame Raikage, fourth Raikage after his best friend and her father had her best is after his best friend and her father had died on a mission 8 years ago. Naruto told her that people hated him as a kid because of his whiskers like mark on his face. He told her of the attack and how he grew up and trained on his own until he became a genin, and then finally Itachi appeared. Needless to say, they both had started feeling a pull towards each other. It was like a red string of fate. If you don't know what a red string of fate is, it's a Japanese thing. If you wanna know more, then look it up on Google. You will find a lot of things about it. The time had gone by rather quickly. A lot of 12 teams had made it to the towers, including the Suna team, the Kumo team, and the Rookies, and several other Konoha teams. As they were waiting in the hall, the Hokage began a speech outlining the use of Chunin exam as a replacement of war, and Genins died in the third part of the exam. After that, it was announced that as the number of Genins who passed were too great for the third exam, so it was announced that a preliminary third round was to take place before the official final exam began. As he announced that, the big board on the wall began to shine and the matches were announced. Hinata versus Neji, Mito versus Sakura, Narumi versus Ino, Sarui versus Yakumo, Karui versus Random Konoha Genin, Omoi versus Ren, Samui versus Kankaro, Kiba versus Naruto, Izan versus Lee, Shikamaru versus Kin, Choji versus Dosu, Zaku versus Shino, Tamari versus Tenten. Gara gets a free pass after several other games drop out of the test. That's all for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope to see you in the next video. Don't forget that the subscribing is the best way to be notified for a new part. That being said, bye bye.